While eating grilled corn, he stumbled onto a brilliant business idea. His son was yelling from the heat of the spicy sauce, but still, he couldn't stop eating. That's when Richard noticed something. Everyone around them loved that same fiery flavor. Mexican-style seasoning wasn't just popular, it was everywhere. And in that moment, he had a vision. What if he turned that flavor into chips? Spicy chips that could take the world by storm? So he got to work. He bought every kind of chili he could find, dried ones, fresh ones along with onions, herbs, and vegetables. Then, in his small kitchen, he started mixing, testing, tasting, trying to create the perfect hot sauce, but he had no experience. Every trial ended in disaster. His son, after taking a bite, shouted,
Hot like elote hot? Good hot?
No, bad.
Still, Richard didn't quit. While big factories were faking heat with artificial additives, he insisted on using real, raw ingredients to get that deep, authentic Mexican flavor. He blended fresh chilies with onions, cilantro, and traditional spices. He even invented a hand-cranked drum, just to make sure every chip was evenly coated in sauce. He tested every pepper in town again and again, and finally, he nailed it. He handed a chip to his youngest son. The boy hesitated, took a bite, and blurted out,
Burns good or burns bad? It burns good.
That was it. Right there in his kitchen, they had created a legend. The world's most iconic snack, Flamin' Hot Cheetos, was born. But here's the twist. The man who created this world-famous snack was just the janitor. Richard wasn't a food scientist. He wasn't an executive. He was the guy who mopped floors in the very factory where those chips would one day be made. Richard had grown up poor in a Mexican-American family. As a kid, he brought homemade burritos to school. His classmates laughed at the smell and teased him. When his mother found out, she didn't back down. She packed him extra burritos and said, "Share them." So the next day, when the teasing started again, Richard stayed calm. He offered one of the kids a taste and pretended to take a big, delicious bite himself. One bite later, the teasing stopped. Another kid reached for a burrito. Richard stopped him and said,
25 cents.
He didn't just win respect. He made his first sale. Word spread. Soon, he was selling burritos to half the class, and his piggy bank started to fill up. But life wasn't kind. Because of his undocumented status, Richard dropped out after elementary school. With no education and no path forward, he bounced from job to job, doing whatever he could to get by. Eventually, he landed a job as a janitor at a snack food factory. It was his first real job, and from day one, he made a promise to his supervisor, "I'll be the best janitor you've ever had." Even though the job was thankless, even though there were only 2 people in the department, Richard worked with passion and pride. Soon, he became fascinated by the factory machines. In his spare time, he asked engineers how they worked. Most ignored him. He was just a janitor, after all. But one engineer, Clarence, at least responded politely, until Richard asked how one of the machines actually functioned. Clarence's face changed instantly. Those details were top secret. A coworker jumped in to smooth things over. Later, over lunch, that coworker explained how things really worked around here. The cafeteria said it all. The first row? Managers. Well-paid. Stable jobs, great pensions. Next, floor supervisors, decent money, no security, full responsibility. Then came the engineers, skilled, proud, and respected. Clarence was the best of them. Half the company leadership had once trained under him. And at the very bottom, janitors like Richard, the invisible ones. Richard didn't want to stay invisible. He did what he had always done. He brought Clarence a burrito. This time, Clarence didn't brush him off. He asked, "What do you want?" Richard said,
I want to learn from you.
He explained that his dad had worked in machinery, and ever since he was a kid, the sounds of motors and gears made him feel alive. That was the turning point. From then on, Clarence mentored him. Richard showed up early, stayed late, asked questions, took notes, and eventually he could operate and fix most of the machines himself. He was still technically a janitor, but he was also named Employee of the Month. Then, the economy crashed. In 1980, a national recession hit. Orders dried up. Richard's hours were slashed. Promotions were frozen. He applied over and over again to transfer to maintenance. Each time, rejected. To survive, he picked up a second job at a local grocery store. Meanwhile, fierce competition in the snack industry was shrinking Cheetos' market share. To save money, the board voted to shut down factories. Workers like Richard were the first to go. No jobs, no paychecks, no safety net. The company president, Roger, made a video. He told everyone, factories everywhere are struggling, but every crisis brings opportunity. Each of you could be the reason we pull through. So start thinking like a CEO. That speech lit a spark in Richard. Maybe this was his chance. One afternoon, while picking up his son from school, he grabbed some grilled corn slathered in hot sauce. His son, face red and eyes watering, kept eating bite after bite. Right then, it clicked. The opportunity had been right in front of him all along. It was just a matter of seeing it and having the courage to chase it. So he did, and they finally created the perfect spicy chip. But just as things were falling into place, layoffs hit again. People Richard had worked with for years were losing their jobs. He pitched his idea to his supervisor, a spicy chip with real heat, real flavor. He asked to speak with the company president. His supervisor laughed. "Do you have any idea how much much it costs to launch a new product? It takes years, millions. You're a janitor. Be realistic. But Richard didn't quit. That night, he snuck into the office, found the company directory, and called Roger, who was in Italy at the time. Roger was shocked, but he listened. Richard pitched his spicy chip idea. Roger said yes, send me a sample. So Richard and his wife boxed up the chips and mailed them off, nervous, hopeful, unsure. Roger took one bite and nearly passed out from the heat, but it was addictive. He couldn't stop eating. 2 weeks later, he flew back to meet Richard in person. When factory leadership found out, they panicked. What if Roger hated the idea? What if he realized how badly the plant was doing? He might pull out, completely shut it all down. They blamed Richard. He started blaming himself, but his wife stayed by his side. She helped him study, helped him write a presentation, even bought him a tie they could barely afford, just so he could look his best. On the day of the meeting, Richard was nervous. He stumbled through the slides. The fancy words didn't feel right, so he dropped the script and spoke from the heart. Our product line is too safe. No spice, no boldness, but this chip, it's something new. Nobody else has it. It'll blow the market wide open. Roger listened. He believed in him, despite resistance from the board. He gave it the green light. Production began. Flamin' Hot Cheetos hit the shelves. At first, nothing. Sales were flat. Inventory piled up. But Richard started investigating, and what he uncovered would flip everything on its head. That secret was powerful enough to change his life forever. Want to know what happens next? Follow me. The rest of the story is coming soon.